Oblivion is here, and my name is Shader, and I love Hollow Knight, okay? If you've already seen the Silk Song videos, you know this. I think it's pretty obvious. I am in love with Hollow Knight. It's always had a special place in my heart, and it's just always been my thing. You know, when I was, younger, I used to draw Hollow Knight a lot, and I always thought of this idea of like a frozen over mod DLC thing, and with playing Silk Song now, I thought, hey, why not give it a try? So this is kind of like my version of a, you know how people do Pokemon regions, their own Pokemon region? Not actually going to do any coding for this, or making it. Might be a cool thing in the future, but not that. So I thought of the idea, thought of a name, Hollow Knight Frozen Over. I like that. Sounds neat. I wanted to start off with drawing some of the original Hollow Knight characters in my own style. Now, I do know how to draw the Hollow Knight style. I love it. But I just wanted to do my own, because, you know, I can. Why not? And you might see me there. There's the thing at the top. Correction. And you might be noticing that I'm not using tools like I did in the previous art video, and I'm testing the correction out. That's because my partner taught me about the stabilizer tool. And the fact that I have not used that ever in my life makes me an idiot, because using it here for this video, oh my god, so much better than ever before. I still did use a little bit of tools, you know, for like circles and stuff, but actually just drawing and not feeling like I have no skill in terms of drawing. Like, yes, it is a bit of a skill issue, but also using a stabilizer, oh my god. But here's me drawing the night out in my style. It's a style I'm still building up. I'm enjoying it. It's fun for me, drawing like this, so I think I might continue it on, you know, but there'll be tweaks along as I improve. No artist has ever... Okay, I'm calling myself an artist, I guess. Yeah, sure, why not? I make art. Art is not a thing where you just finish and you're done. It's always progressing, and you're always supposed to get better, so I can't wait to see how my art style develops now with this new style I've been enjoying. Anyway, there's the night. I did color picking. I think color picking's fine. Love using my airbrush tool. You're going to see that a lot around here. And you see me adding in some extra shading on the cloak and the eyes, and I realized that was a bit too much shading, so I decided to go back on it a little, do something a little bit lighter on it. But there's the knight. The knight. In case you don't know, he's not the Hollow Knight. The Hollow Knight is a separate character. This is just the knight. I wanted to make the size a bit more out of the way so I could head off and start doing Hornet. There we go. So, grabbed a little image of Hornet just to get my colors right, and got my sketch that I did on paper first, because, again, I did not realize the stabilizer tool, so I was just going to outline everything I drew on paper, and then I was told about the stabilizer tool, so I just spent my whole time here trying to get used to it, and god, do I love it. Now, I thought to myself, how would I use this mod idea to create a sort of, like, how would this work? And I thought to myself, if I was gonna make something, I would actually want it to be a post-game DLC mod, right? As opposed to, like, the God Home and Nightmare Grim, the Grim Troop, I mean, where it's part of the game itself. I thought, okay, what happens if, let's say, for example, you got an ending, and that continued on the story? I was thinking about how things worked and within the story of the game, trying to figure out something that could match up nicely. You know, I still made up my own thing, but I wanted something that seemed at least partially realistic. Like, maybe. Like, possible. In the realm of physically possible. And I thought, what if in the Dream No More ending, and, you know, any ending where you kill the Radiants, I think there's the two God Home ones, but I'm going with Dream No More. I know the Team Cherry suggested that there is no clear ending, and I still like to think that, though I do have my own favorites. Dream No More is not my favorite, because I'm sad that the knight is dead. But it's the ending that I think most people agree upon, and I thought this would be the best ending to make a sequel DLC out of. I thought to myself, what if, since the Radiance is so dead set on making sure everyone, like the people who pray to her, stay praying to her, what if there was a previous threat to that? And the Radiance, how they're always in the Dream Realm, I know they come from there, but since they're always in there, what if they're also a, dreamer lock sort of thing, in the same way that the dreamers were for the Hollow Knight, for some other entity? And maybe that entity is what is causing this frozen wasteland. With the Dream No More ending, Radiance is destroyed, and so that barrier trapping in that other higher being that's freezing everything over has been released. I still am not fully sure on what I want that higher being to be, but this is what I thought about. The whole place gets frozen over. Looking at it, thinking about things, the knight can't really be the main character after Dream No More. He's dead. So I tried thinking of who would be my main character, and it took a lot of thought of who I wanted. For a long time I was thinking, oh, bring Hornet in, duh. But then, Silksong exists, and I'm still not sure on whether that's a sequel or a prequel. I would like it to make sense with the possible game, so I thought I should just leave Hornet out of the game. I'm pretty sure it's a prequel, and it could just be a thing of like after the game, after the DLC, Hornet goes to Farloom if it is somehow a sequel, but I thought to just leave it. You see here me drawing some Silksong characters. I just thought it'd be nice to do, and yes, I know I did not include Sherma's instruments. I know that might be a sin. I am sorry. I just forgot to do it. You could literally see me pulling up an image to color pick, and I was just like, yeah, I'll do it another time, and I didn't bother. Which is, bad on me. I'll take the hit for that. During the whole thing, I was enjoying it. You see, I did get, like, a bit sloppy with my art here, especially with the outlines, but I just wanted to, lightly enjoy the process of practicing drawing them out, getting some sizes right, and seeing how the tool fits into this idea of making it, before I got on to actually trying to make original characters and stuff for the DLC. I thought to myself, what would be the map? What would it be like? What would the whole game play as? And I don't have that fully down yet, but my idea is that you'd start off wherever you start off, and everything is frozen over. Completely frozen over. And you'd kind of make your way through, and the knight's dead. So my idea was, with him being dead, there is no one to stop it. It's completely taken over already. Maybe there's like some sort of time skip where everyone got frozen over the second it was released, or like a little bit after the Dream No More ending, everyone just got completely frozen. And our main character breaks themselves out and goes on a journey to defeat this entity, this higher being, and free Hallownest once again from the corruption of another god. Now, with the Radiance being gone and no definitive Grim Troop ending assigned, I wanted to keep the idea of the Grim Troop fire never being lit in this one, so that you could still play with it. If not, you'd probably just find whatever charm. If you do the Grim Troop and get like an ending in it, I would just say you get another charm whatever charm that you got from your Grim Troop endings, or whatever whatever amount you had done in the Grim Troop there, at the candle when you lit the fire. So here was my first idea for what would be a main character. I was thinking, okay, what if it's a bee warrior, since these were the most protected places from the Radiance. I'd say it was the Hive and the Mantis tribe. So I thought, let's do something with the Hive. My first idea was this sort of bee knight. How would I make a bee knight work? And the head's cute. I like the head. But the body, and especially the limbs, sheesh. I ended up not liking it much, and well, I decided not to go for it. I wanted it to be, you know, kind of based off the Hive Knight, since Hollow Knight's main character is the Knight. Got another Knight. Thinking maybe another bee child that took up the role of the Hive Knight. And you would play as that, going through and trying to save everyone. Maybe you'd start off with a constant Hive blood, and that would be something interesting, where you'd constantly be able to heal through that method, but you don't have any soul to heal. I wanted it to not be soul. In Hollow Knight we have soul, in Silksong we have silk. I wanted to, if I was going to do my own DLC sort of thing, it would not be soul. Maybe some sort of like heat thing or nightmare energy. Here is the idea that I did eventually land on. A Mantis tribe. Now, I know the younglings, the young Mantis, have their wings and they fly and that, and it's when they grow older that they lose their wings and stuff. But I was thinking, maybe with the fact that everyone got frozen over, when this Mantis breaks out, its stunted growth never even let it develop its wings in the first place, and it just never got wings. I thought of how would I do a new needle, and I didn't get too much, just a little flicking at the end, but I really wanted to push the personality of this Mantis, because it's supposed to be our main character. So, who are they? I wanted them to be unique, so I tried giving them the actual colors of the Mark of Pride. Since I noticed that kind of had similarities to like Mantis claws and stuff, I thought, what if there was a Mantis that actually looked similar to the Mark of Pride itself? So I tried using some colors from there. You could see me playing around with it, trying to get a nice mix of colors for what I wanted. Eventually, I settled on this darker head crest and some lighter cloak, I guess. But I thought this Mantis would break out of some sort of like nursery hidden off area that you don't see in the original game, and they go off to free the rest of the Mantis tribe. The Mantis never really believed in God, so I feel like it would make the most sense for a Mantis tribe survivor to want to kill another god, to, you know, just to be like, how dare you screw us over? Especially since the Radiance had no effect on them, it seemed. Unless, you know, you have the Traitor Lord who accepted them in. So that's our main character in the end, this sort of Mantis child. Here you can see me doing my idea of, like, masks. There's not much of a difference between the Knights and Hornets between the two games, but I thought doing something interesting here would be pretty neat. I did use the, I think it's called the curve tool here a lot, just because I wanted to get some neat lines for what would be the equivalent of your mask. I think after I got the design down, just placed it out of the way. The next thing I wanted to do is, I wanted a mechanic where you'd be so cold you'd be taking damage in the cold. And what better way to give yourself a way to not take damage in the cold than, you know, a charm? Thought to myself, how would a charm fit in from the Mantis tribe when the only charm we have is the Mark of Pride? Well, if the Mark of Pride is meant to be a connection to the Mantis, what if there is some sort of mark that they do for when they send people away from the tribe instead, essentially outcasting them? Maybe the traitor lord got this and he left it on his chair, and when you break out, you go to their seats where they're all like dead, and this charm falls out. So I thought of the Mark of Shame. Maybe it has some sort of candlelit fire on it, and I don't know if you would actually hold this as a charm slot, or if it would be something like Void Heart where it just permanently stays there and keeps you warm. I also thought that this would be the way that you would have your generation of like soul usage, you know, that thing that you would use to focus and gain your mass back. And I thought it would be this sort of heat. The Radiance had heat, Nightmare Grim had heat, so there's definitely some sort of like fiery heat thing that is prevalent. So I thought of this red fire that this mark or charm would emanate as a sort of, I guess, warmth of the tribe as you leave. You know, some sort of being like, oh, here's your Mark of Shame. This is your only, like, kindness as we kick you out of the tribe. And our hero here would take it to help themselves survive in the cold wasteland. And also restore masks when they take damage. I really tried making it look good. You know, you see I got some issues with the layers here, so I ended up just shoving a black colored version in the background to just try and get rid of the little inefficiencies. And here I am trying to draw what would be your sort of soul gauge, but I think I'd call it the flame gauge. I really liked how when you have full soul, you get popped up with like the two eyes. I thought to myself, how would I do that? And I just ended up doing it with the knight itself and not an actual, like, one eye. Kind of resembling Lorien, I guess. I feel like Lorien would survive somehow. I don't know. It's not dependent. Oh wait, no, they would all die. Well, this is me trying to draw my thing, thinking of this like red heat to be the thing. I know it looks a little bit, what's the word, very grim looking, and it's not meant to be. Probably make some fixes to that later on, but I like this really red heat that you would take every time you defeat an enemy. You know, you take their body heat, even though they're covered in like ice and stuff, there's like some body heat within them. And I thought that would look cool. Here I am, now at the end. I wanted to really put this into a setting to kind of see how it would look. So, thought putting it in, you would go around, and here, this would probably be near the start of the game. You would go around as your hero. It's not frozen over. The fungal waste would be frozen over. And I just put a random background. There's going to be more to this. Okay? Work in progress. Work in progress. Now I thought putting in my masks in there. To really give this kind of like concept idea of how it would actually look in game. And I think it looks neat. I think it looks pretty good. It's well done. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. I think this could be something that really works out as a sort of frozen over idea. I really wanted to set that in. This idea that you are the heat fighting against the ice of whoever the villain is. Now, this is the first video of this. If you do want to see more, well, that'd be great. I'd love to show you all more of the idea and really develop on this and definitely put up the visual quality of it. But there it is. There's the kind of concept idea for how it would look. I hope you like it. I hope you like the video. If you do, you know, make sure to like. If you're feeling a little cheeky, give it a subscribe. And if you want to see videos in the future, ring the bell. It's my first time giving you a sort of call to action, so hope it's not too harsh. And if you do have any ideas for what you would like to see me, you know, develop into the mod next, or this idea next, comment, you know? Tell me which ones you'd want to see down there, and maybe that's what will pop in on the next video. It probably will be, because I appreciate your comments a lot. Anyway, you have been Oblivion, and this has been Hollow Knight Frozen Over. See you next time.